Yo, you know what time this is. Unique, the Harlem legend, the icon, the kingpin. Make sure y'all check out my YouTube channel at Unique Mecca Audio. Hit the subscribe button. Make sure you like my joints. Make sure you comment on the joints. And make sure you share this joint. Alright? Make sure you hit the notification button so you're notified when the videos come in. You don't want to miss it. And make sure you tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend that Unique Mecca Audio got it going on. Alright? Hey, make sure you get this joint. It's bananas. A Roaring Harlem at roaringharlem.com. You ain't gonna find another better book. Yo, get this joint while supplies last, because I'm telling you, the best book you're gonna read, 5 stars, it's crack. It's like every time you did something, it was like we spiritually connected with the universe because it came at the right time. Okay. You understand what I'm saying? And when I say the right time, I'm gonna break that down. They just locked the joint down because somebody got stabbed out there. Right. You know what I mean? So we sitting in the cell, and the police bring the book to my thing, and I seen the crack area. And the police came upstairs and tell me about, oh, you know this guy? And I didn't even know the book was coming. Because you know how you always do, you just do you know what I mean? So I'm like, I don't know what he's talking about. When he gave me the book, I still didn't know what he was talking about. I seen your name on it, didn't know what he was talking about. You know what I mean? I remember you mentioned you was writing a book, but I'm so frustrated with the lockdown, I ain't paying no mind. Right. So when I get the joint in the cell, and I look at it, I said, oh, okay. And I was so frustrated, I wasn't even in the mood to read. You know what I mean? But by the time I sat down and I started reading it, you know what I mean? So much, you know, historical memories came back and flashbacks that it actually put a smile on my face in my cage, man.
I'm glad
you know what I mean? It put a smile on my face in my cage after 26 years. That's how much of a blessing that was. So I'm reading the joint, it started getting so good, I'm getting so open, you know what I mean? With the flashbacks, I had to get it out the cell, man.
Is that right?
Yeah. So I sent it down the hall to my DC homie, Big Lou. Big shout out to Lou from DC. Because Lou loved those books, and he loved you, Don Diva, all the books you sent. Before I even get a chance to read a Don Diva, he done, you know what I mean? So, well, I get him and just pass it to him. Right. And then he'll tell me what he like in it or whatever. Okay. So, you know, he's and he a big dude, look like the dude from the Green Mile, so he ain't no little dude. So when I say this, they don't take this no kind of way. Big dude, Big Lou is fascinated with you.
Is that right?
You know what I mean? Fascinated. I mean, he love everything about you. I respect him because he's a man. He's man enough to say it. And he respect us from New York.
Yeah, respect from him.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, he doing a life sentence. Got caught up in DC for a body after he left Pennsylvania. This so his family see it. They know what it is, and they let him know that, you know, he played a big part in helping me transition during the time in there, just like you did by sending the book. Right. But you know, once he read the book, you know what I mean? Now, when I get it back and I'm reading it, now he has questions to ask because he's always asking questions.
Yeah, you're in the book too.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. But I mean, he always have questions about Harlem back in the day. Right. And he wasn't there, so he didn't have anything to give me. And I'm like, dude, what you want to know? You want me to sit here and tell you the history of Harlem? Right. You know what I mean? But after reading your book, it was so well written that he's asking me descriptive things like if he is from Harlem. Right. You know what I mean?
Right, because he had a viewpoint at that point.
Yeah. So I officially stamped him as a Harlemite. Okay. You know what I mean?
Deserve
from
it.
your book.
Deserve it.
You know what I mean? That's what we used to swear him in. Like how when we went to trial to give us the Bible to swear in, that was the Bible to make him a Harlemite. You know what I mean? But like I said, man, everything you did always been right on point. So that's why I want to introduce that so people know that dudes, when we locked up, we don't want much. You know what I mean? The littlest things mean so much. You know what I mean? The littlest things mean so much. Like that book he sent, man, that was heaven at that time. You know what I mean? For me and Big Lou.
Well,
You know what
I mean, you got to think. We talking about Don Diva, the creation of Don Diva for that reason. You know, I took my own experiences and knew what was important for me when I was there. You know, and that sort of derived from that same thing you're talking about. Just the little things.
Yeah.
You know, we low maintenance when you locked up.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I mean, we sitting around waiting on mail call.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Just to hear your name called.
Yeah,
right.
get your name, hear your name called. You get a letter, it don't say nothing in it, but I miss you, and that warmed your heart till the next day when the next mail call comes.
So anybody listening, they need to know that. It don't take nothing but a letter, man.
Just a letter, man.
Magazine, a book.
You can send a letter, young ladies, and kiss the paper.
Just say I was thinking about you.
And that's it. Just the lipstick kiss is saying that.
It's a fact.
You know what I mean? We don't need much on the inside. You know what I mean? The little things y'all take for granted, man. I mean, it take us so far, and that's what helped to make me so understanding that I could forgive my enemy. You understand what I'm saying? Because I knew if I sat there and I wished that on my enemy, that means that I'm not growing. You understand what I'm saying? So instead, I just block out my enemy.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? So I don't even think about him, what he did, none of that. I just move forward. And, you know, I use that for my motivational force. And just like I'm out here, everybody says, oh, you're moving so fast, you're doing this and that, you're doing good. That's because I'm pushing forward and I'm blocking out everything that don't make dollars. Because if it don't, it don't make no sense.
Right, that's a fact.
You know what I mean? But we was talking, how was your transition coming back, you know, when you came back? Because you told me you haven't mentioned that before.
Right. You know, it's funny because I was in Pennsylvania for most of my bid.
Which one?
In Allenwood.
Oh, Allenwood, okay.
Right, so I was in Allenwood. So I actually got a transfer and came back down as a cadre. And the reason why I did it, most people don't want to take that job because it's a fucked up job.
Yeah.
But I took it because I needed
it's the next step to the street, so they carry you any kind of way.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So when it allowed me to hear, you know, what was going on in the city, I was able to hear like Hot 97 and stuff like that. And then it was easier on my people to come visit me because you got to figure it's a 4-hour, you know, ride back, 8 hours total back and forth.
Back and forth, yeah.
You know, and so it was like my last 3 or 4 years, and I took that job just to make it a little easier on them. And then it allowed me to sort of get in tune with what was going on in the city because, you know, all we have up in the mountains is like what was it, BET, I think it was at the time.
Yeah.
You know, and that's
they don't like that. Yeah.
Exactly. And when I came down, I realized BET was so to the left from really what was going on in the city. You know, I'm hearing Flex now. You know, I'm hearing the different DJs that's on the airwaves. So it sort of gave me the ability to sort of get in sync with what was going on out in you know, out in the city. But even with that being the case, when I came home, it still was weird because, you know, again, and I was going a little bit more than a third for you. So I know when me and you talk, I was like,
it's too much.
Yeah, well, regardless, you know what I'm saying? My 10 years, but your 26 don't even compare. But nevertheless, when I did come home, man, I definitely felt really weird because, you know, technology was starting to take hold. Yeah. When I left, we didn't, you know, we had phones, you know, the kind of phones we had, but it wasn't smartphones and all this bullshit. Yeah.
You know what I mean? I still had the G.I. Joe on my hip.
Yeah, but I'm gonna tell you something. I was definitely a little bit embarrassed. I mean, inward, you know, outward, I never made mention of or expressed it to anybody.
I'm on my experience with that too.
So I just was paying attention and watching a lot of things. You know what I'm saying? And I know that a lot of things were real difficult for me. One of the things that stand out for me is when I went and took my driver's test again. You know, at the time when I went to take it, it was on the computer. You know,
see, I didn't experience that yet because the joint been closed since COVID.
Yeah, right. So you know? it was on a computer, and although I dabbled in that a little bit prior to going in, it was just different. So the test wasn't so hard. Driving is what it is. It's like riding a bike.
Exactly.
You don't forget that. You know, so the driving part was, but actually taking the test and the functionality of it. You know, so everything was changing during that time, and I found some difficulties in that. And you know, because of who we are, you sort of just process things and then you make it make sense. But I really never shared with anybody some of the difficulties that I was having making the transition. Yeah. So it was really with technology.
Okay, well, what was some of the differences as far as adjusting to the family? Because I'm having certain little issues because you know.
Well, you know what? My kids, when I left them, they was young. You know, my kids was pretty young, and then I watched them grow up, and I missed graduations. And one of my kids was maybe 10, 11 years old. So one of my sons had graduated from high school, so I missed, you know, from maybe 6th grade on to 12th grade. I didn't.
And that's a pivotal point.
Right, it definitely is. So I wasn't there for him. But you know, my daughter, which was the youngest at the time, I was having some issues with her because kids seem to think that you left them. They feel abandoned.
Exactly.
And
I went through that with my daughter. Well, I'm going through that.
Right, you are, and you're gonna.
I'm still going.
And I am as well. And I've been home almost 15 years now.
You see?
So, and I spent a lot of time, and continue to spend time saying that I wasn't an absentee father. I didn't choose to go to jail. I was actually out in the street, trying to provide for my family. That's what I call myself doing, or thinking what I was doing, not realizing that when something like this happens, you realize you regret the time not being there.
Exactly.
Especially those formative years for your sons. You know what I mean? They need a father there, somebody to keep them on a straight, narrow path. But I spent a lot of time trying to get reacclimated with that, but there's a lot of resentment there,
Yeah.
There's a lot of resentment from your kids, So, it's a process though,
Yeah, because I have one of my daughters, that I'm having an issue. I ain't gonna say no names. I got so much of y'all don't know who I'm talking about, so don't say I'm putting your business out there. You know what I mean? So we're gonna keep that real. You know what I mean? But anyway, so one of mine, and she made a good point.
Right.
A damn good point. I'm gonna say that name for the camera. She made a damn good point. Her point was, damn, Daddy, I was only 18 months when you got locked up. You know what I mean? My other brothers and sisters, they was older. They remember living with you, going over to the Mecca.
Right.
You know what I mean? Traveling with you, doing things with you. But I don't have any memories with you.
Right.
And she told me she felt left out.
Right.
She had no memories.
I can imagine that.
You know what I mean? No, I can definitely, imagine that. But these are things that the communication, you know what I mean? The communication helped me to understand.
Right.
You understand? I didn't understand where she was coming from. Because like you say, she was basically telling me, well, I felt like you left me, like you abandoned me. Nah, I didn't choose to go to jail. I made choices that wound me up in jail.
Right,
you understand what I'm saying? And when I was making the choices, it wasn't, I didn't know, I knew right from wrong, so I want to get it right, so I want to get my words right for the youth that's listening. You know what I mean? Meaning, I ain't think they would give me no life sentence for that. I ain't killed nobody. I wasn't running around hurt nobody. I mean, people wanted to spend their money, party, have a good time. They came and they did what they did, and we did what we did. And we, did it respectfully and didn't disrespect anyone.
Right.
And we stayed in our lane.
It's a fact.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, but, they take that like if we chose to, when the choices we was making, was trying to benefit, our circumstances and the messed up parties. That's what I'm trying to get accomplished with my YouTube joint. I want them to understand that this is not about how much keys we sold and how big our names is. It's about the pain and suffering that, we caused by our choices.
Right, but you know what, and I always, when I go to explaining this or attempting to explain, because, you can finish my sentence, but you got to take into account the age that we were. You understand?
Exactly.
So that's a big factor, not the factor. You're talking about teenagers and young adults making these kind of decisions. And the communities that we came out of, I grew up in poverty.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I never had my own bedroom till I paid rent. So I lived in a household where, I shared a bedroom with my little brother. So and the first time I actually had my own bedroom was when I was able to pay for it myself. Yeah. So the circumstances that sort of got us in the streets in the first place derived from us, being in poverty. You know what I'm saying? So when you come up like that, you make choices that you obviously don't have the foresight to see the consequences of those things. And then once you sort of get knee deep into it, at that point it's like,
yeah, you know what I mean. Now
the money takes over, and the power, and the ignorance kicks in. So
I was just asking him, while my man DP201 was getting the camera set up, I was asking him, why he never came up to Club 2000, and give me an answer why he never come to Club 2000, and tell about the brothers that did, that that I know you heard the stories.
No, absolutely.
You know what I mean?
In the street.
But why you didn't come up?
Well, when you opened up 2000, it was like, I guess, 91, 92. By that time, I had been in the street from 85. It's like 7 years later. So I was hot as fish grease by that point. And I had started noticing where I was being followed.
By who?
By the feds.
Okay. Let them know. I know. I want them to know.
Yeah. Well, by the time 92 rolled around, I was being investigated by the feds, and I found out early on that I was being investigated because we was really resourceful. So I kept seeing certain cars follow me all the time, and at one point I got like a license plate number. I had a person that worked in the precinct you know, and I had given them the license plate number, and they told me that it came back as a government vehicle. You know, it wasn't too hard to put
you already know.
one and one together at that point, come up with two. So I sort of got low around that time. You know, I really started getting into all my businesses and like saying to myself, listen, man, you know, if you're gonna follow, if you're gonna follow me every day, you're gonna follow me
doing
going to work,
the right thing.
going home, you know, doing that kind of thing.
Not knowing that they're gonna hold you responsible for
regardless.
Yesterday.
Right. But again, this is my my naivety. You know what I mean?
But it's just for them listening to know.
Yeah, because
know?
So I squared up and I got on some ghost shit. Like, you know, when y'all see the character in Power, you know, I got all the way into character, and I was just, you know, going to my businesses, you know, and hanging around my kids and being a family man, you know, doing what I probably should have did way before that moment. But that's sort of the reason why you didn't see me running in and out there at that point, because the last thing I wanted to do is be seen in a picture with 30 dudes.
But now let's speak on this. Being that you went there, which is a good topic. You're being followed, right? By the feds.
Right.
You understand? So now our lifestyles changed so much that now we got the biggest cowboys, you know what I mean? It's the biggest cowboys in the world. They're gonna say in the country, in the world, because the feds is worldwide. The biggest cowboys in the world is following little old us from in our little neighborhood. You understand? So now, first we gotta watch out for the little
bullshit.
You know what I mean? The little stupid niggas that think that they're gonna rob something, no, they ain't even cut like that. But you know, we gotta worry about that. You understand what I'm saying? And then now we gotta worry about these dudes. You understand what I'm saying? And it's always somebody to worry about, and it's always something on your back, you know, that make things so. This is what's not in that 4-minute video. When you jump out the car, you popping champagne, you're having a good time. Yeah. This is where the stress factor come in
and the anxiety come in. Where every day you're wondering, is the day gonna be my last day?
You see what I'm saying? Meaning the Fed's gonna get you, or one of these dudes gonna kill you, or you're gonna have to kill one of them for trying to rob you. You know what I mean? Cause like you said, you jump out the car, you busting champagne, Fed's taking pictures, and you got dudes in the cut saying, yeah, I can get that nigga. He look drunk. I think he gonna go to such and such house tonight. What's that girl name they be messing with? Exactly. Oh, she live over there on Convict, right? Okay, well, yo, go up on Convict in case she come up there. You go over there, woo, 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 and everybody everywhere is spread out. They trying to figure out a way to get you. You know what I mean? But you ain't worried about them because you can just bust them and keep it moving.
Right.
You know what I mean?
But the other people?
But the other people's, it's a whole nother ball game.
It's a whole nother one.
So that's when the stress factor take another level. You know what I mean? Because our street, cred done went up another level. So it's a whole lot of dimensions to this, man. A whole bunch of dimensions that I'm telling you, and I know Kevin is siding with me. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. You know what I mean?
What's so funny? And I'm gonna tell you something, man. I wore the stress for 2+ years before they actually, kicked my door one morning. But that first week or so in jail, I actually
felt relief.
Yeah.
I already know.
It's the craziest shit in the world, man.
Yeah.
That first week was like, man, like everything was beyond my control.
Yeah.
Because you're used to controlling it.
Yeah.
And you come to terms with that. I can't just pick up a phone. I can't just do this. You know what I mean? And obviously you're dealing with reality, what your circumstances is. But for whatever reason, it's like a fucking burden was lifted off you. You know what I mean? Like it was like some kind of emotional, mental vacation or something. Because, like you said, it's a lot of shit running around in these streets, moving a certain kind of way. And when you're getting that kind of money,
exactly. Biggie Smalls said it. You know what I mean? More money, more problems.
It's a fact.
You know what I mean? And that's what it is.
It's a fact.
But the same way we vibing. Like I said, you have to know who we are. If you don't know who Kevin is, you know what I mean?
Vice versa.
You know what I mean? You guys been on the rock. But what I want to do now is, and this is not to glorify, just tell how you came up in the game part, the hustling part, so we ain't got to get this long. So that, we can put some footage behind it and they can see who we are. Right. And when we say that the feds came after us, why they came after us. Because we became that niggas.
Right.
We became that. You know what I mean? Like I said, this is not to brag about it, but we have to let y'all know who we are so that you know why we're qualified to tell you not to do it.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? We didn't sit on no corners, doing no, you know what I mean? We're not those type of brothers, you know what I mean? So, tell me how you got in it. I know, I read the book, I love the book. You know what I mean? The Crack Era by Kevin Chiles.
It was a compliment coming from you. I know you get it.
Yeah, I love it. You know what I mean? Because there was so much jewels in it. Even the part where you mentioned my name, and I respect you for the fact. That's a fact.
No,
exactly. Because when you were still locked up when Tiffany first got in touch with me.
We did something on your issue number 2, just about the party stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But that's where I was getting at. Why I respect, because I let Tiffany know that look, I'm fighting, so I can't get into my case. You know what I mean? But we could talk about the parties because I'll do anything to help.
Right.
But I can't get on the case because right now I got life.
That. That's issue number 2. That's 19 and a half years ago.
You see what I'm saying?
Right out the gate.
You know,
issue number 2.
And I even gave you all the pictures and just say we just don't keep it on parties. But right now I'm fighting for my freedom.
Right.
Once I get out, whatever you need me for, I'm there. But let me get my feet where I can see some daylight.
Right.
And I'm showing y'all, let me tell them how serious this is. You know what I mean? And you didn't have to experience this, but this is what me and so many brothers that have life sentences have to experience. I had 20 years in and Obama come in with the clemency.
Right.
You understand? Dudes had 10 years in and Obama cut their life sentence to 20 years.
Right.
And they're mad.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying?
Now, so you know what it is? And this is important because a lot of times you hear people say, yo, dude got 25 to life. And 25 life estate means you got to do that front number and you come home.
Yeah.
Potentially.
Yeah, potentially, yeah.
Life in the feds,
Huh.
like you said, you leave in a pine box.
You live in a pine box.
That means you could be 20 years old, you could be 30 years old. If you live for the next 70 years, that's what your sentence is.
Yeah.
Now imagine that for selling narcotics.
You understand?
You
Not
know?
hurt nobody.
Right. Just selling narcotics.
Everybody loves
and
it.
I don't care how much money you made. What price can you put on spending the rest of my life in jail? Like you can ask a person, a civilian in the street, I'll give you, how much money do I need to give you for you to spend the rest of your life in jail?
For my son, or for my brother.
Right. What does that look like?
Yeah.
What amount of money is worth that?
You see what I'm saying? I mean, it's just crazy, man. But like I said, you know, where I'm getting at is, like I said, they gave a man from life to 20. He got 10 in, and he got to do 7 more. And he's mad. You know what I mean? And for them to see where I'm coming from, I had to let them know, dude, I've been in 20 years. If they offered me another 20 years,
it's a date.
I would take that.
It's a date. Right, it's a date.
I would take 20 more years when I already did 20. Because I survived the 20, so I can see the end of this 20, but I can't see the end of a life sentence with a pine box. So could you imagine doing 20 years in prison and you writing the judge to say, hey, could I get another 20 years? But I'm saying, can I get another 20 years instead of this damn life sentence? You know what I mean? So the dudes that didn't have the time and they say, Unique, how you let that nigga get away with that? I say, yo, dude, as long as that nigga ain't physically putting his hands on me, I don't care what a nigga say. I'm trying to get to my grandkids. I'm tired, man. You know what I mean? I'm tired. So I had to make my own rules instead of penitentiary rules. Right. You understand what I'm saying?
Now you have to. You know, it's so crazy that you say that because again, I don't have that perspective. And there's so many dudes that knowing what a life sentence feels.
Oh, okay.
You know, so many dudes because I do down there, and I have personal friends, as you very well know. Same people I know you know.
Exactly.
You know, and when I press 5 and they call me and we talking and they got a life sentence, it's so crazy when they call me. No different than yourself, where your mental be.
Yeah.
Because you never called me and sounded depressed. And the shit is crazy for me. And I'm gonna tell you something, man, and that's really what kept me grounded in the street. You know what I mean? And my loyalty to dudes like you, because like, yo, man, I can't complain. Like I got my freedom. Ain't nothing. I don't give a fuck what's going on in my life. And anybody who know me say, yo, homie, don't never complain about it. How can I?
Dude.
When I'm pressing 5 and I'm talking to you, and you like, yo, man, what's going on? Yo, shoot me this, shoot me that, and your spirits is here. And then I'm listening to some nonsense. Because it's nonsense.
Yeah, that's all it is.
Nonsense.
Because you think you're free. That's free nonsense.
So I told the person, listen, man, and then they get yo, you never bothered. I'm like, listen, I've been someplace, right, where I understand something, right? But then I still have friends that I speak to regularly. Like, see, because of what I do for a living, I'm still bidding with y'all.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Exactly.
We're still bidding with people.
Yeah, he did a great job. Right. I appreciate you.
So my thing is, it's no way for me to be in the street and you call me and I complain to you, say, yo, man, shit fucked up out here. Like, you look at me like, yo, what the fuck are you talking about?
You know?
Let's switch places.
Yeah.
All day, you know what I'm saying? So I'm never bothered by nothing.
Listen, I tell them all the time, man, if I get a flat tire, you know, God
stuck in
forbid,
traffic.
If it's stuck in traffic, somebody run into my car, we buy a new one, I'm free. I'm not mad at nothing.
Be broken the street.
90 days ago, I was in a cage.
Rich in jail.
90 days I was in a cage expecting to die. Right. So how could I be mad today being a free man out here? You know what I mean? With my grandkids, my kids. You know what I mean? Come on.